Hey guys, people here. Today we got to look at the new campaign reward ship, Tier 7 Italian Battleship Roma. Paolo Di Ravel on the screen there. Only battleship commander currently available, so he's who we're going with. Put Cunningham on for this game. I'd been running Kedrov. Cunningham was a new addition for this game. Here are the results. This is game roughly number 10. Early impressions video like I normally do with premiums that Wargaming gives me to test out and then report back to you on. I like to get you guys some information after I've kind of played enough with the ship to get a nice feel for it. At least that's usually the goal. So here's my thoughts on the Roma for you. So far I like it quite a bit. Guns are interesting. They seem to be like really high, the reputation for the PC version, high velocity guns. Now I just did a quick little comparison with the Bismarck, who I played a game in the Bismarck earlier for my bureau missions in the AI, lined up the sights to 10 kilometers, 5 seconds to target. Same thing on the Roma, 10 kilometer target out, 4.8. So they are in fact faster velocity. What the difference is there, I don't know, 2% give or take. Maybe my math's way off there, but there is some sort of a difference. All right. A lot of overpens. I think that's kind of another thing that's rumored to be how the ship is on the PC version. Seems to be the case here. Now, Paolo has this perk in slot number 2 that increases the penetration of the battleship significantly. I think it's about 8% at my current level, 10% maxed. Might be wrong in those numbers. But there's a significant increase. Also, lengthens the duration of the fuse, which is odd. The Italian cruiser line, there's a cruiser commander in there. I don't know the guy's name yet. I think it's Luigi. But he's got one in there that shortens the length of the fuse by 90%. That means when the shell enters the ship, it goes off much quicker, much less likely to get an overpen. Here on this build, though, if you elect to use that perk, you lengthen the length of the fuse on those shells so they hit this side of the thing, they arm, but they take longer to arm, so the shells are much more likely to travel through the ship and result in an overpen before going off. That's probably exacerbated a little bit by the enhanced velocity of the shells as well, so there's a lot of factors going into it, but you can keep an eye on the icons throughout this game. Here I'm getting a little bit antsy, we're the furthest far forward on our team, and we're not that far forward. But most of our team's sitting in the back doing some periscope viewing. So anyway, interesting gun characteristics. Pretty easy to hit stuff in terms of getting the shells there. The travel time is very quick. So in terms of hitting ships, it's relatively easy. Dispersion's a little wonky. Sometimes these shells are pretty reliable. Sometimes they get a little haywire. So you never exactly know what you're going to get with the Roma, but it is kind of a fun ship to shoot. Here, I don't know why this Benson torped behind me. At no point in time was I sitting there. I was always backing up. I was actually slowing down to go forward, trying to go where these torps were, but he'd already launched the torps there, obviously, so he put it back in reverse and easily dodged those. So, pretty aggressive play by the Benson there. Not necessarily what you want to do as a destroyer. You always want to be closer to your support ships than the enemy's destroyers are to theirs, So, in other words, he was very far from his support ships, and he was actually very close to our, I wouldn't call them support ships from his perspective, but he basically just came right up to us, let us crew off on the beach, and then blew himself up. So, not the most effective play there. Hopefully learned a valuable lesson there. But, we're going to see these guns in action here. I'll give you a quick rundown of the stats here, but initially you can see we were engaged with this guy coming into B, but as these guys push more towards our broadside, we have to angle towards the broadside, so we eventually angle towards this Bismarck, and then we engage the targets from left to right. We don't want to be engaging the guy we started with, the guy that's right behind us, because to get all those guns on him, we have to open up, give these guys basically perfect broadside. They'll wreck us very quickly, and you can see we're already taking considerable damage just trying to get the ship. We were, slow, and we were basically broadside these guys to begin with. So we have to re-angle there, and now we'll engage these guys left to right. That's kind of Battleship 101, but it bears repeating often. HP, we got 65.4 is the max starting HP. That's pretty good. That's, kind of middle of the pack, but it's not horrible. 3x3, 381s. Now, looking at my charts, some guns you got 380s, like the Gascon that we covered the other day, the Germans. Then sometimes you have 381s, like the Vanguard, Monarch, the Roma. So it's this odd little break. I don't think that really is going to affect any penetration. Maybe there's something where it's just barely over the line, but I kind of doubt it. Just kind of an oddball historical anachronism would be my guess. Range on this build, though, 15.1. I'm looking at my chart. That's the worst. Now, I don't usually run a lot of close range brawler builds, but I do have some. And this is the shortest range out of all my builds. Reload 22.7, though. And that's besides the Turpits, besides the Odin, and some of the British. They're right in that wheelhouse as well. Now, keep in mind, Paulo's ability is Battleship Reload, so the more we level him up, the quicker the reload. But already pretty good reload out of the gate. Again, that does incorporate Brawler into the build as well. Traverse, keep in mind we do have Kadyrov, but 29.4. Certainly not bad for a Battleship. It's not the best known to man, but it's certainly better than a lot of them. HE damage, 5,100. Doesn't look that impressive. 24% fire chance. So, I mean, looking up and down my list, that's the worst there. So, hopefully you guys don't play a lot of HE on battleships anyways, at least most battleships. But this one, put it away, leave it at home. This is definitely an AP slinger. Now, the damage isn't outstanding. It's 12,000, but I mean, it's designed to be played with AP. Just take it from me. Speed-wise, I got 30 on my build. Pretty dang fast. I think that's actually the fastest out of all my builds. My French ships, I run JoJo, so those would probably be a bit faster. Rudder shift, 12.5 in my build. Outstanding. 810 turning circle, so not bad. Kind of, actually, that's on the good side of things. So not the best, but good side of things. So mobility-wise, we got a really agile ship, quick ship. Like I mentioned earlier, the detection's good. I don't have it listed. I didn't update it once I changed it from Congo to Cunningham, but I would suspect it's probably mid-14s. So it's still going to be among the best, if not the best, in terms of surface detection. Consumables, you have your pretty standard damage con, repair party, and then the spotter plane / fighter plane, whichever you choose to use. So anyway, in this game, basically what we did is we executed a turn right off the bat, angled towards B and C, with A basically totally behind us. Then as C pushed forward, we've angled towards them, and then we've just been pinning them down, trying to prevent them from pushing. They're being really aggressive, trying to push into our spawn, and here it's not necessarily a good strategic move, but it's what they're doing. We have to react to what the enemy's doing. We don't want to be idealistic when playing World of Warships and say, this is what my team should be doing, this is what the enemy team should be doing. Once you can drive out those silly notions from your mind and really focus on dealing with the situation as it exists in time and space, you'll be much happier and you'll be much more responsive to the situation that's actually at hand. So it doesn't matter which team you're evaluating and saying, why are they doing that? Just deal with it. So we don't want them to push forward, even though they probably shouldn't want to. But the more they try and do it, the more we're just going to punish them. And you can see we haven't really racked up massive salvos yet. In fact, a lot of the results are kind of mixed so far, but it's good, steady damage. We're not going to get block shots, really. It's either penetrations over penetrations. Maybe if they're really well angled, you might get some that skip off the side there, but that's what you want to be doing. Check that first icon, that's the full penetration with internal detonation. Third icon, that's the over penetration. Those are the two results you're going to be seeing most on the Roma here. But you can, I'm still in the testing out the gun phase here, but angled battleships like this, leave the HE at home to shoot the superstructure. You can punch through those angles and cause damage that way. Anytime you're getting broadsides, shoot them at the waterline. We're going to see a nice wicked salvo on this Wichita back there here coming up. The only really strong, massive salvo in this particular game. But I wanted to highlight this game because we see a lot of shots land, and we can keep an eye on those results. Again, we're not seeing blocked shots in that result number 2. All the other ones, though, are kind of what we're seeing. So once you get this ship, you can play around with that. I'll be turning that slot number 2 perk on and off as time goes on. It would be playing around with the turret traverse as well. You can put porcupine on there. I haven't even looked at the secondaries, to be honest with you. I don't normally care too much about the secondary performance at this point in time, but that last shot there was what we were talking about against the Wichita. It looked to me like he was turning away, so we caught him with 1 or 2 shells, hit him kind of at a diagonal angle there, punched through the armor, punched through the citadel, and even though we had that extended fuse, it was able to detonate internally and really ding that guy up pretty well. So, like I said earlier, so far I've been enjoying it. Good mobility. I tend to like battleships with good mobility, and guns that I enjoy so far. I'm still figuring them out, just to be honest with you. I mean, I don't see much in terms of result number 2, block shots, a lot of overpens, a lot of, citadels. Like that one was kind of interesting. It looks like those shells were kind of slowing down and dropping them. I thought when I aimed that shot, I thought I was aiming more, just a smidge higher on that ship, trying to hit the turrets actually, but it looked like one of those shells actually just dropped straight down in that citadel. So I don't know if these guns are randomized results like the French Tier 7 battleships, where sometimes they're really accurate, sometimes they're kind of goofy. That's some of the shots that I've taken with this thing, that's how it feels. Like maybe this is a similar feel in terms of inconsistency, salvo to salvo, but I don't know. I've had a lot of really interesting results in terms of what's happening when these shells actually hit the thing. Like I mentioned earlier, it's pretty easy to hit things with these. The guns seem pretty high velocity. Keep playing around with those. All in all, it's just I enjoy playing the ship. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it'll be particularly hard for Johnny Potato on the street. We'll see. I mean, some of the players out there shock me every time with the ways they come up to it. Anyway, we're going to trim this one a little bit. This Wichita, he's kiting, so this is a valid tactic. He's shooting back. He's not dragging out the game intentionally, but it was a little eye-rolling when we were playing this one. He was just going a little bit faster than us, and he kept coming in and out of range. So we'll fast-forward it here. As this comes in, you'll see one of these penetrate with no damage. That happened 2 or 3 times right at the end there, so that's something I'm going to keep an eye on too. Maybe it gets a little spooky at range even, or it's the Wichita, so you never know what's going to happen when you shoot at the Wichita. Anyway, that's a look at the Roma for you guys. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. There's a lot of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave them below. Love to hear from you guys. And we'll see y'all later. All right, peace.